So my next guest is somebody that I know pretty well. You have to say that about somebody when you're quarantined together with them. Why don't I let her introduce herself and tell us what she does for a living?
Yes, my quarantine partner. I am Helen Danto, and I am a licensed social worker, and I currently work for early intervention in New Jersey. And in that capacity, it's a mouthful, and developmental interventionist. And what that means in one sentence is I work with children birth to 3 years. For what I do, goodbye. For what I do primarily, I work with children who have identified language delays, and
Got
I
it.
try and help them bridge the gaps that they're currently exhibiting.
And which cat was that was visiting you just off camera? Was that Jack or Lily?
No, that's always Lily, who
Ah, okay.
is just joined at my hip usually.
All right, so tell us briefly what your job involved before this COVID-19 pandemic happened. What would your daily or your work life be like?
I did face-to-face work. I go to children's houses and I do hands-on work with them. Doesn't get more direct than that. So that's what I
So
would do.
explain a little bit more deeply. What is hands-on work? What would you do with a child to try and help them get past some of their delays?
Okay, so hands-on would mean, for example, many children with language delays, they really don't have what's called joint attention, meaning that they really don't know how to attend to an adult to engage in any type of activity, whether it be blowing bubbles or playing ball or whatever. So a perfect example of hands-on would be if we're going to play ball, because that's usually fun, literally having the child hand over hand, having the child hold the ball, teaching the child to roll the ball. Usually there's a parent or a caregiver on the other end that's receiving it. So what I'm doing is demonstrating to the parent how to teach their child while I am teaching their child, with the goal of the child thinking, wow, this is really cool. I like this now that I know what to do with a ball. And they start doing it more independently, and then I can fade myself back. But that hand over hand is crucial to teach a skill that a child just isn't learning, quote unquote, from the environment, meaning naturally.
That's a great description. Thank you. So then the coronavirus hit. Had you ever used video conferencing or unified communications technologies for your job before it happened?
Ha, never. I always would tell people who would meet me, don't ask me what my husband does, but I can ask you how you feel. I can ask how you feel about whatever it is that he's doing, because that's how much I understood about it.
Okay,
So no.
so then you're stuck at home. Your supervisors call you and they tell you that you're not allowed to visit anybody's houses anymore because we're all staying home to flatten the curve. What tools do you have? What do you use in order to do your job now?
So they gave us um, the platform called GoToMeeting and said, you're now going to be providing services uh, virtually. He said, really? And how do we go about doing that? And basically, we were given a list of resources that weren't very helpful and said, good luck. And so I had to figure out how to use GoToMeeting. I happen to have some help in the house, which really, it's a big cheat on my part. So I didn't have to do what a lot of other people had to do. I just said, honey, how do I do this? And then I was fortunate enough to also be given the Poly Studio, which has really been a game changer in terms of me being able to use this to be able to demonstrate to caregivers how to teach skills to their child, because obviously I'm not there. And so I really need to be able to show caregivers how to do different things. And this technology has been a game changer because I've really been able to do that almost seamlessly. Nothing's ever going to take the place of me being with a child, but this is about as close as it can get. So it's been fabulous for me. Johnny doesn't know what to do, and so you're going to take his little hands and you're going to put them in your hands and you're going to pick this up and you're going to say, put on, and then you're going to have a parade. Yay! You put it on! Woohoo! And then you're going to go to the next one. And you're going to take his hands and you're going to put them on, and then you're going to put it again. You're going to say, put on. You're going to have another parade. Yay! Woohoo! And then you'll do it for the next one. Woohoo! And you'll do it for the next one. Woohoo! And then you're going to end. Here's more vocabulary. A duck. There goes the duck. And we push on, and then watch. We can turn. It goes around and around. It does a dance. It does all these fun things.
And with that camera, as opposed to a camera built into a computer or an iPad or something, you're able to set it to track you. You're able to set it to zoom out, so you can do demonstrations. You have a lot more flexibility.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, if I wasn't using this, my understanding is, I think I tried it for a second, I would have to have things literally, it would be so difficult to show and maneuver whatever materials I'm using to demonstrate a point because it's such a small window. My goodness, with this technology that I'm using, I don't really have to think about it because the intelligence does all the work. It'll follow me. It does whatever needs to be done. So all I have to focus on is what I'm doing, as opposed to, oh my God, is it being captured? Do I have to position myself a different way? Because this amazing gadget, which that's what it is for me, does it all for me. It's rather amazing and awesome.
How have the parents you've been working with and the children you've been working with responded to the work now that you're doing it over video and not in person? What has the engagement been like?
So for those, I call them my little students. For my little students who had me going to their homes for a while, I'm not going to lie, it was an adjustment because when I'm in the home, no matter how much a parent is participating, I'm still leading. It's just the nature of the work. Now, the parent is really in the driver's seat and I'm their coach. And so I think it was an adjustment, but I think parents have really warmed up to it. And most importantly, now that they have to immediately own whatever the goal is that we're working on in terms of the skills to teach it, they're seeing that they're really able to follow through with it in between sessions, which is what they really should be doing to begin with, in order for their child to meet whatever the goals are that were established for that child.
So that's actually an interesting point, that when you were in people's houses, it was clearly, based on your description, easier for you to work with the children because you could get right in front of them, hand over hand, you could move things around, and it was easier for you. This method of teaching remotely is harder for you, but it's actually forcing the parents to learn the skills to work with their kids, which is what they should have been doing in the first place. So even though it's harder for you, you're creating a new set of teachers and the parents and teaching the skills, because you were never going to be somebody's 24/7 instructor. That was the parents' job.
Exactly. And in all honesty, it's even helped me to further develop my skills and realize how much more when we go back to in person, I will be putting the parent in the driver's seat, because that's where they belong in order for their child to truly make progress.
So
Hmm.
one last question. Beyond the pains and the early bumps of you needing to get your in-house tech support, to show you how to use calendaring and show you how to send an email and show you how to do links and all the rest of that
It
other
wasn't
stuff
that
that
bad.
may not have been all of the within your skill set. Have you found any difficulties? Has the technology failed on you? Have people been struggling with it? Have there been, and it's, just honestly, or is it
I'm
just, you set the meeting and you start and go?
I'm being honest. I set the meeting and I start and go. That's it. Once in a blue moon, but it's on the other end. Maybe the picture freezes for a moment, but that has nothing to do with my end. My end has been flawless, and I'm not just saying that. So far, it's been flawless. It's been great. Hello, Lily.
All right, pick her up. That's a great shot. Pick her up for a second. Let's say hello and goodbye with Lily.
Lily, now that you're here, you have work to do. She's become a good. She becomes part of my sessions now because the children can't get enough of her. Say hi. There
You'll
you
have
go.
to bring
You
her
need to
along
say
to your other
hi.
sessions.
Earn your keep.
Thank you very much for telling your story. Thank you for doing what you're doing, and thank you for making dinner tonight.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. My pleasure. Bye.